Hi guys, and welcome to my review of the latest episode of Smackdown. Just before we get started, the obligatory plug bit. This will be the last time that be posting wrestling reviews here on this channel. After then, I'll be crossing over to another channel that I'm really trying to get off the ground. That will basically be focused also on my health and fitness journey, which is basically been really important to me since becoming a father. I'll be basically doing I'm doing other like sports analysis as well. So basically, yeah, if you want to continue watching these wrestling reviews as well, maybe even into your health and fitness, interested in getting some more sports analysis content, then yeah, just hop over to my other channel where I'm trying to get off the ground at Wellness Roads. I'll include a link in the comments to make it super easy for you guys. And just hop over there, ring the bell for notifications. Please like and subscribe; it would mean the world to me. And thank you guys for that. And so let's get started with this latest episode of Smackdown. So this latest episode of Smackdown started off with Randy Orton basically coming out. This was by Matt Cardona, who very unadvisedly came out to basically brawl with Randy Orton, as he still has his had his arm in cast after the attack last week by Randy Orton. This had basically sent Randy Orton a few minutes to set up a match with him later on in the night. So I guess like the whole policy of being medically cleared does not apply at SmackDown. So I guess Nick Aldis is very fast and loose over there. Basically we also had the news that Trick Williams is going to WrestleMania as well, which we all kind of maybe figured, but it was great to have that confirmed because obviously he has got a super over now. This was basically double barreled also, where Sami Zayn was present as well. Nick Aldis was basically saying that Sami Zayn wasn't going to WrestleMania because he had been on a bit of a downward trajectory. Sami Zayn initially walked off but looking pretty depleted. He eventually seems to stop as if he's kind of had a potential idea in his mind. His idea basically, he comes back, he hits Trick Williams, so we basically thought that maybe he thought because Trick Williams' opponent hadn't been worked out yet, I thought maybe he was thinking he would just kind of instigate fights with Trick Williams, instigate a feud, and sort of get him riled up that Trick Williams demands Sami Zayn they have a match at WrestleMania. I thought maybe that was the play here. Turns out that was not the play. We'll get back to that shortly. So we basically had a tag team match as well between Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss taking on the Bella Twins. I knew that this was going to end up in shenanigans. We had the Lash Legend and Nia Jax ringside. They ended up causing the destruction. I think it might have been Lash Legend who had hit Alexa, taking her, allowing for the Bella Twins to pick up a win. The Natural Forces then got into the ring and basically started clearing out the ring, basically just making a statement that they are the new big bad in town. This was when Bayley and Lyra Valkyria came out. Obviously last week they had basically made themselves kind of they were kind of number one contenders. So I guess in the contender during that match is going to end in shenanigans as well. And obviously my last review of SmackDown, I was quite hard on this because I was just so full of full of distractions and interventions and all of that, I had to kind of give it a thumbs down. So, but yeah, so I kind of like, so, but in a way that this kind of continued the trend, but I gotta say I didn't mind this because I feel like this is all playing towards something that us as wrestling fans are going to be really happy with, because I do think that this is just basically all building towards us getting the fatal four way, but with these four teams at WrestleMania for the title, which I just think would be absolutely fantastic. And I think the cherry on top of that, if you had a stipulation onto that, like a tables, ladders, chairs, I think I would just be an absolute spectacle and an absolute brilliant showcase for the women's division, I think. So I think that is absolutely the right call here. So yeah, I didn't mind that so much. Backstage also we had Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley talking backstage. So that was kind of nice. That was kind of like a little bit of a mini Judgment Day kind of like reunion, a little bit of a blast from the past. That was great. This basically ended up as being like a kind of like a segue for Rhea Ripley to come out to address last week. We basically had Rhea Ripley still being kind of like the very unadvisable call in basically Jade Cargill, Michin and B-Fab out. So yeah, basically like she had obviously been talking to Macadona as well about about how not to preserve yourself. Yeah, basically we had. Yeah, so Rhea Ripley had basically called out Jay Cargill and Beach and B-Fab. Jay Cargill, Beach and B-Fab gladly obliged. So we basically then got like a bit of an insight, obviously, from Meechin and B-Fab as to why they turned heel. They were basically saying that Rhea Ripley had been given all of this TLC type of thing, where they were all kind of like shoved in the background, and it was all Rhea Ripley's fault and everything. Look, I mean, like I said, I guess this is as far as a heel turn goes, and I think this is fine. I think this is fine as far as like an explanation goes. Did it get me over? No. Do I think that it's going to be something that's going to get over with a crowd? No. I think that absolutely it did absolutely result in Jade Cargill, B-Fab and Michin getting this real heat. But interestingly, and I may be talking crazy here, but it sounded like the sort of heat that you wouldn't want. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of like, I don't know. I mean, basically, it's kind of like, so it's sort of like you kind of like have this sort of like heat, like say Gunther, for example, where, it's very intentional, and it's sort of like, he's there just kind of like lapping it up kind of thing, and it's like, yeah, it's just injected into my veins. This was almost kind of like where they are. It does become that pantomime thing where it's sort of like you have the villain that you love to hate type thing. Whereas this, I just generally think the fans hate it. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I do generally feel like that. Maybe that's a little bit of confirmation bias by me. Maybe, I don't know, but that's just kind of a vibe I get. So yeah, I mean, it didn't do anything to improve how I feel that this feud has been booked. I don't think it's been booked particularly well, but yeah, basically back to the show. So we basically have this resulted in Rhea Ripley having a match with B-Fab. This fell apart very, very quickly, as I'm sure we all kind of predicted, as Jade Cargill and Michin got involved, and then from then on it was just a copy and paste from last week. Obviously they beat her down. Like I said, I still kind of like understand the play here that they're trying to make Rhea Ripley look like the underdog in this feud, but yeah, I mean, like I said, it's yeah, it still didn't do much to win me over really with necessarily with this feud and with this swerve. So we then had a backstage segment that really made me chuckle. We basically had the Miz and Kit Wilson basically talking about the curse supposedly that Danhausen had put on the Miz. The Miz looked really, really kind of like riled. Kit Wilson was basically going, "Is this because of the curse that Danhausen put?" And the Miz is basically going, "There is no curse. A curse is basically when you get struck by lightning, not like me where I'm stepping in gum and like drop my phone down the toilet and all of this." It just made me chuckle. And then so the Miz goes off. We had Danhausen then just magically show up as he does. And then we basically had Kit Wilson basically saying that Danhausen was toxic. So we know what happened next. So Danhausen curses Kit Wilson. Kit Wilson basically goes out there, has his match with Jelly Roll, which I thought was a fantastic match. I gotta say, I really enjoyed this match. I enjoyed this match much more than I thought it was. I think that props to Jelly Roll. I think his performance in this was really great. This was his first time singles match. I thought he did really well. Obviously, he was aided by Kit Wilson, they did a fantastic job of getting him really over. We basically had Jelly Roll picking up a win with the choke slam, I just thought it was a nice match. I thought it was a really, really nice one. So basically we then had Carmelo Hayes basically come out making an open challenge. This was kind of like preceded by him having a big conversation with Tama Tonga, as Solo Sikoa was basically having a backstage segment with the MFTs. He was basically making this apology for last week and basically saying, who wouldn't apologize? Roman. So everyone's talking about Roman at the minute. So Carmelo Hayes comes out, makes this open challenge, and Sami Zayn responds. And obviously the play is Sami Zayn is determined to win this title, so that he gives him this momentum. He gives him this title to get at WrestleMania, and I thought that this match was fantastic. This match was the match of the night. If you only see one bit of this episode of Smackdown, this is a bit you should absolutely watch, because I just thought it was fantastic. Not just like the in-ring ability of these two, which is going to be fantastic, just the to-in and throw-in, the way that this was kind of like aided by the storytelling as well, of Sami Zayn just refusing, knowing he can't let this go because he knows this may be his only shot to get to the title at WrestleMania. I just loved it. I really did. I just thought it was absolutely fantastic. Basically we had Jacob for 2 basically when coming out. We basically had Drew McIntyre coming out. Basically we had it was all kind of like served the purpose of basically Nick Aldis basically confirming that that match at WrestleMania was going to be unsanctioned, which absolutely kind of makes sense with the feud that's been built here. I thought that was really good. We then had Cody Rhodes returning. Cody Rhodes returned right at the end. We basically Randy Orton had come out. He had a match with Macedonia. Of course, I forgot where we were initially, but Randy Orton had his match with Macedonia. Randy was predictably obviously targeted his arm, and then we basically we all knew how this match was going to go, how it was going to be booked. So we then had Randy Orton RK RKOing eventually Macedonia when he had sort of played with his food enough. And then we basically had Cody Rhodes and then kind of running out. They had a fantastic brawl, absolutely. We had all the security and staff like coming out to try and break us up. So we had Randy Orton throwing the security guards over the announce tables and all of us. I just thought this was fantastic. I really did. I loved this brawl. We then had Jelly Roll basically coming out trying to be kind of like a voice of reason, believing that maybe he had the ability to kind of maybe bring some calm to it with his friendship with Randy Orton. So then basically Randy Orton basically gave Jelly Roll confirmation that friendship was well and truly over, as he hit Jelly Roll with an RKO before exited the ring and just laughing like a Cheshire cat. So I just on the whole, guys, I am going to give this episode of SmackDown a thumbs up. I do think that it was an improvement over last week. I thought that there was a nice little building blocks for WrestleMania. I think essentially this was I think the main strength of this episode. I'm glad to say that after me really not being impressed with last week's episode, I'm glad to say that there was significantly more that I enjoyed in this episode than I disliked. I can't really think of anything that I did actually really dislike. I think that this was an episode that really gained momentum as it went on. I thought that maybe it started off a little bit kind of not bad, but it was still kind of a bit paint by numbers type thing, and I think as it went on, I think it really gained some momentum, and I think it is an episode that one of those things that just gets better as it goes on. I think I am going to give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. Like I said, feel free to let me know down in the comment section about what your own thoughts of this episode of SmackDown were, what your own little fan theories are moving forward on the road to WrestleMania, all of our fun geeky stuff. Let me know down in the comment section, and please, like I said, I'll leave a link in the comments also to my new channel where you can hop over to continue seeing my wrestling reviews, as well as be talking about health, fitness, nutrition, other sports analysis, such as there'll be some football in there, or soccer for American friends. There'll be some boxing stuff, health, fitness, wrestling, sports, all of that. If that's your bag, hop over there, and I'm kind of like hoping that channel will allow me to basically bring content to you much more thicker and faster, really. Please hop over to that channel and ring the bell for notifications, like and subscribe. Like I said, it'll mean the world to me. Thank you very much for your support, and I will see you guys on the next video. You guys take care.